the Reason Magazine, Reason.com, the libertarians, they're saying, okay, great, the government's going to loan money to people who are going to private colleges, but they're going to check out those private colleges and make sure that their loans are actually, producing some benefit. I shared with you the statistics. The private colleges are making a fortune, and they don't graduate as many students, and their students don't do as well. And so he wants the government to scrutinize the not-for-profit and the government-run colleges as well. Not-for-profit colleges are already scrutinized. They have boards of directors and who are serving to make sure that the college function is done, not to make sure that money is being made. And the government, in fact, I'm on the board of a not-for-profit school, so I can tell you from personal experience, hunterschool.org if you want to check it out. Excuse me. And it's a great charity. And government-run schools, like, let's investigate the University of Michigan. Come on. I know libertarians hate government, but come on. Let's investigate the University of Michigan. Let's investigate the University of California. No, let's provide free college education to every American student, every American, period. I mean, I'm not just talking about kids out of high school. There are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60-year-olds out there who have seen their jobs, their IT jobs go to India or their manufacturing jobs go to China, who are thinking, I'd like to become a nurse. I'd like to become a doctor. I'd like to become a different kind of engineer. I'd like to become an environmental scientist. I'd like to develop the next generation of solar energy. But in order to do that, I've got to go to college for a couple of years. We should be saying as a country, great. And when you graduate, you're not going to be broken in debt. We're going to make it happen. There's a reason why so many of these other countries so lead us in the world. It's a very, very simple reason. They build infrastructure. They build the and China is doing this right now, like crazy. China is has more bullet train. They have 2,200 miles of bullet train right now of high-speed rail, and it's going to be 2,200 miles, and it's going to be over 4,000 miles of high-speed rail within 2 years. They have trains right now the equivalent of Orlando to New York and New York to Chicago that they have just built in the last 2 years and coming up all the way to Los Angeles in the next 2 years. And we're doing what? John Boner's sitting around talking about cutting taxes for billionaires and billionaires and tying up Congress and saying, no, we can't afford to give unemployment benefits because we're in debt. I guess I still am in a bad mood. Oh, man. Terry, listening on an AM 1450 in Charlottesville, Virginia. Hey, Terry, what's up?
Hi, Tom. I totally agree that we should have free education, at least for the kids that are trying to get into college. I mean, I guess I'd have to think about it for everyone because I don't even know if that's possible. But it's so outrageous that when I went to college and worked my way through, at least there were a few BEOG grants out there that you didn't have to pay back as long as you went through the requirements and got your degree and finished, But now it's just crazy the amount of money you have to come up with. My husband and I make too much money to have the kids eligible for too many scholarships, even though they made fabulous grades. Mm-hmm. And my 23-year-old son just graduated from the University of Virginia, and he had to take out literally over $60,000 in personal loans to get through.
I know. I just co-signed one for one of my kids, and it's nuts. It's nuts.
And let's be honest, he's got a bachelor's degree, and that's not going to do anything for him.
Yeah.
He's currently in graduate school, and he's going to have to get through that and possibly postgraduate school. So by the time he's done, it's quite conceivable he'll be at least $100,000 in debt for a job in his field that generally pays $50 to $60 a year as a researcher. So, it's crazy. I just don't understand it at all.
It is. Well, let me give you some understanding, Terry. There has been, over the last 30 years, a very intentional and concerted effort to strip the wealth of the middle class and move it to the very, very rich. Now, it wasn't there are some of the very, very rich who participated in this game because they liked getting even richer. But the real reason why this started, and I lay this out in my book, Screwed, and quote from the guys who did the intellectual horsepower behind this back in the 1950s and 1960s and 1970s here in the United States, the founders and leaders of the conservative movement, Russell Kirk, William F. Buckley, and others, Barry Goldwater. When they looked at the American landscape in the 1960s and 70s, and they saw kids in colleges, the girls weren't wearing bras and the boys had long hair, and they were saying, hell no, I won't go to Vietnam, and they were all smoking pot, and they looked at that and they said, this is chaos. When Kent State happened, they said, this is the end result. And when the Black Panthers were there, the conservatives were going, oh my God, look at this. I mean, this is, there's potential, and it's as people of color, we can't have, and their solution, and they were open about it. They actually discussed it. William Buckley used to talk about this on his program, Firing Line. They were open about it. Their solution was these people have too much money, and they have too much time on their hands, and what we need to do is turn them from the middle class into the working poor, and when they're the working poor, you will not see hippies, and you will not see free love, and you will not see Black Panthers, and you will not see protests and riots. Instead, you will see a docile working class, and that's what we've got. And Terry, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it totally makes sense to me.
Because it is what has happened, and I can show you the documentation of where this thing started. Terry, thanks so much for the call. I appreciate it, and thanks for listening to us there in Charlottesville. We will be back on the Thom Hartmann program. Stick around.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann program.